It's Friday, you just got paid, and by Monday, it's gone. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Did you know that 64% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck? That's the majority of people. And it's not because they're reckless or irresponsible, it's because they don't have a plan. If you've ever felt like no matter how much you earn, it's never enough, you're in the right place. Today, I'm going to show you 6 actionable steps that you can take every time you get paid. These steps will help you take control of your money, break the paycheck to paycheck cycle, and ultimately set yourself up for long-term financial success. And the best part, these steps are practical, easy to follow, and you can start implementing them right away. Let's start with step 1, knowing your financial baseline. Think of your financial baseline as your survival number, the minimum amount of money that you need to cover all of your essential expenses every month. It's the foundation of any financial plan, because if you don't know where your money's going, it's impossible to manage it effectively. Surprisingly, most people have never calculated this number. They just have no idea. They might have a rough idea, but when they sit down to figure it out, they're often shocked at how much they're actually spending and where they're spending it. Now here's how to figure out your baseline. Start by pulling up your last 3 to 6 months of bank statements. Yes, this might feel a little bit tedious or even uncomfortable, but trust me, it's worth it. Go through your statements line by line and write down all of your recurring expenses. This includes rent, mortgage payments, groceries, insurance, utilities, transportation, and any minimum debt payments on like student loans, car loans, or etc. Now don't forget smaller recurring costs like streaming services and gym memberships or donations. Add all of these up to get your total monthly expenses. This is your financial baseline. Now once you have your baseline, compare it to your monthly income. How much is left over? If your financial baseline takes up more than 50% of your income, it's time to take a closer look at your expenses. Ask yourself, can I reduce this? Do I really need this? For example, are you paying for subscriptions that you don't even use? You haven't logged into Netflix in 2 months? Could you switch to a cheaper phone or internet plan? What about groceries? Are you overspending on items that you could buy in bulk or on sale? Even small changes can add up. Saving $20 here and $50 there might not seem like a whole lot, but over the course of a year, it could be hundreds or thousands of dollars. Let me share an example. A friend of mine realized that she was spending about $10 a day on coffee and snacks. That's about $300 a month or $3,600 a year. Now, once she started making coffee at home and packing snacks, she saved over $2,500 in just 1 year. That extra money helped her build up an emergency fund, which brings us to step 2. An emergency fund is your financial safety net. It's what you rely on when life throws you a curveball. And let's be honest, life always does. Cars break down, unexpected medical bills pop up, and jobs just aren't guaranteed. Without a safety net, even a small emergency can push you into debt and derail your financial progress. But with an emergency fund, you can handle these surprises without the stress of wondering how you'll pay for them. So how much should you save? Start small. Aim for 1 month's worth of expenses to begin with. This is your quick solution fund. It's enough to cover basic emergencies while you work on other financial goals. Now, once you've built that, aim for 3 to 6 months of expenses. If you're self-employed or work in a high-risk industry, consider saving even more, up to 12 or 18 months. Keep this money in a high-interest savings account, ideally at a different bank from your regular checking account. Why? Because it's just too easy to access. You might be tempted for non-emergencies like a vacation or a big purchase, a Black Friday sale. I'll share an example from my own life. Over the last few years, my family has had to spend thousands of dollars on unexpected medical bills. If we didn't have a 6-month emergency fund, this might have been extremely stressful, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck. I don't know what I would have done. We would have gone into a bunch of medical debt. But since we had the emergency fund, we just paid it. We said, you know what, this is what the money's for, and we moved on and continued as always and rebuilt it up out of our next paychecks and continued to do all of our investing. The peace of mind it gives you to just pay for these expenses out of your emergency fund and not have to worry about is priceless. Your emergency fund isn't just about money. It's about reducing your stress and giving yourself options when life doesn't go as planned. But here's something to remember. An emergency fund isn't a one-size-fits-all amount. Think about your unique situation. If you have a stable job, 3 months worth of expenses might be enough. But if you're self-employed, have unpredictable income, work in an industry prone to layoffs, or even if the market, is looking a little bit rough, 6 to 9 months might be better. The key is to find what works for you and start building it today. The sooner the better. Now that you've built your emergency fund, it's time to tackle high interest debt. Debt's like a financial parasite. It drains your resources and keeps you from building wealth. Let's break it down with an example. Imagine you have $5,000 in credit card debt at a 20% interest rate. If you only make the minimum payment, it could take you over 10 years to pay it off. In that time, you'd pay thousands of dollars in interest. Money that could have gone towards investing, saving, or simply enjoying life. Now, there are two popular methods for paying off debt. The snowball method and the avalanche method. The snowball method focuses on paying off your smallest debt first, regardless of the interest rate. This is the Dave Ramsey approach. This approach gives you a bunch of quick wins, which can be incredibly motivating. And then, after you pay off your loan, you take that extra money that you save and you start putting that into your other loans the next month. The avalanche method, on the other hand, focuses on paying off the debts with the highest interest rates first. While this saves you the most money in the long run, it requires much more patience because it may take longer to see progress. Both methods work. You just have to choose the one that fits your personality and your financial situation. If you're a high anxiety person, this approach might be really stressful. Here's a tip. Track your progress, write down all of your debts, their balances, and their interest rates. Update your lists every time you make a payment. Seeing those balances go down is incredibly satisfying, and it'll help keep you motivated to stick to your plan. Once you've tackled your high interest rate debts, it's time to start investing. Now, I know investing can seem quite intimidating. Maybe you picture flashing screens, day traders yelling into phones, numbers flying across the screen, or Wall Street bets, YOLO nightmares. But investing doesn't have to be complicated. Start with the basics. If your employer offers a 401k with a match, contribute enough to get that full match. It's free money. It's like 100% return on your investment just from day one. Next, consider opening a Roth IRA. Contributions to a Roth IRA are made with after-tax dollars, but the big advantage is that your money grows tax-free, and you won't owe taxes when you withdraw in retirement. Over time, the power of compound interest can turn even small contributions into a significant nest egg. For example, if you invest $250 a month in a low-cost index fund like the S&P 500, VOO, it earns an average return of around 8% per year, inflation adjusted. You'd have just over $1 million in 40 years. And that's the power of starting early and being consistent. If you're thinking, I don't have that much left over after my expenses, just start smaller. Even $50 or $100 a month can grow significantly over time. The key is to start now and stay consistent. Investing isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about building wealth steadily over time. Now that you're saving and investing, let's talk about increasing your income. One of the best ways to do this is by investing in yourself. This could mean taking a course, learning a new skill, or a side hustle. For example, if you're good at writing, consider offering freelancing services online. Even an extra $200 a month can make a huge difference when you're paying down debt or building up savings. Remember, your earnings potential is often much higher than your savings potential. While cutting expenses is important, there's a limit to how much you can actually save. But there's no limit to how much you can earn. Whether it's negotiating a raise, starting a business, or monetizing a hobby, there are countless ways to increase your income. Finally, let's talk about automation. Automation is a game changer because it takes the guesswork out of managing money. Set up automatic transfers for your bills, your savings, and your investments. For example, you can have your paycheck split automatically between your checking account, your savings account, and your investment accounts. This ensures that your financial goals are being met without you having to even think about it at all. You're just keeping your emotions out of the equation. Now here's why automation works. It eliminates decision fatigue. When you don't have to decide whether to save or invest each month, you're much less likely to make impulsive choices. It also helps you stay consistent, which is the key to long-term financial success. The journey to financial freedom isn't about making one big change. It's about taking small, consistent steps over time. Start with these steps and watch your financial situation completely transform. Now, one bonus tip is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's free, you'll get 2 videos each week, and it would really help me out. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.